Oasis Review Waterproofing, and a bigger screen make it worth a premium. TLDR: Amazon's new $249 Kindle Oasis is waterproof and comes with a bigger screen. If those things matter to you, you should get one. I could pretty much end this review there, and you'd know most of what you need to know about the new Oasis. Like last year's model, it's a luxury indulgence with superior build quality and design compared to cheaper models. Unlike last year's models, you're getting a tangibly improvement over Amazon's cheaper Voyage and Paperwhite models. It begins with that 7-inch screen. 1 more inch over the 63 display on every other Kindle, except the ill-fated DX. May not sound like much, but it goes a long way towards making the Kindle feel more like a book, a significant advantage over reading on most phones. I do most of my reading on my phone nowadays, and my daily drivers in the past few months have all had 6-inch screens or larger. Granted, their tall aspect ratios mean they can't quite cover as much text as a regular Kindle, but it was close enough I didn't feel like I was missing out no much. The new Oasis, on the other hand, feels a bit more like a normal book, though I still wish Amazon sold a larger Kindle size more akin to a normal paperback. The Oasis has the fastest refresh rate of any Kindle, and though Amazon doesn't provide an exact number, it's speedy enough that I rarely felt hampered. For basic interactions like navigating the UI, swiping pages, and rotating the screen, it hardly seems different than using a regular touchscreen, other than a quick flash of black when the Kindle needs to refresh the entire panel. You still can't scroll smoothly, but it's nice to see how much e-ink technology has evolved over the years. At 300 point and such a large display, the reading experience is luxurious. The e-ink panel is not quite as white as a sheet of paper in low light, but for the most part, the fill light does a good job of helping it emulate the contrast of real book. The lighting is also perfectly even on my review unit, unlike some other Kindles I've tried. As with last year's model, Amazon is using a lopsided design, which helps you read comfortably using one hand. It's a bit annoying having to flip the device over for a hardy left-handed grip, but overall I prefer the design to the other Kindles, in part because it actually keeps satisfyingly clicky page turn buttons. Thankfully, Amazon has abandoned the battery case from last year. While it was a somewhat cool concept to extend battery life on a slim and light device, it was a bit of overkill on a Kindle. Besides, I much prefer the new cases which can fold to use as a kickstand when your hands are occupied. My one complaint is that the magnets on the cases are weaker than I'd like, making it pretty easy for the case to come off accidentally if you're not being careful. Unfortunately, I've only had the device for a bit less than a week, which is not enough time to test its battery life, but you can expect similar performance to other Kindles. Amazon rates it at 6 weeks with wireless connectivity turned off, and an average of 30 minutes of reading per day. Considering my Wi-Fi Plus LTE model was constantly connected, and it's only lost about a third of a charge since I received it, I'd say it's safe to expect at least a week or two for heavy users. But that does bring me to a small quibble. The Kindle Oasis uses a micro USB charging port, even though it's late 2017. I know I'll only have to charge it a couple of times a month, but there's no reason Amazon shouldn't be using USB-C at those stage on a device that starts at $250. It means I need to carry around an unnecessary extra cable if I want to take my Kindle on vacation and forgot to charge it at home. It also would have been nice to at least be able to use USB-C headphones or a dongle for audible and music connectivity, but as it stands, Bluetooth is your only option. But really, the reason you probably want an Oasis is that it's IPX8 waterproof. I didn't exactly torture test it, but I ran it under a faucet for a few minutes and dropped it in my sink. It still works, so as far as I'm concerned it's good enough. $250 a lot of moolah to spend on an e-reader, but whether or not it's worth it depends on how avid of a reader you are. For many people, the Kindle Paperwhite will provide the same basic reading experience for just $120. But for those willing to spend more, the larger display and waterproofing are enough reason to fork out the Benjamins on their own. The premium design is just a nice bonus.